Hi guys, welcome back to a page in the chapter, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Paige and today we are talking through my April TBR. My March TBR did not really go my way. It was helpful for when I needed it, like when I wasn't sure what to read and I just had a list there ready to go. That was helpful, but I did feel a little bit of pressure at the start of the month to try and read my entire TBR, even though I keep telling myself that is not what my TBRs are for. So hoping to feel better about it for April, I'm coming into April with a slightly shorter TBR than last month, and also still feeling a little bit slumpy. I am able to read quite regularly now, so it's not like slump territory, but I don't feel this excitement about reading that I started the year off with. But I'm here to talk through all of the books I'm hoping to get to in April, slash just some options for me to read in April. If you like seeing TBRs and wrap-ups and that sort of content, then there's plenty of that on this channel, all sorted into its nice little categories and playlists for you guys to enjoy if that's the kind of content you want. So do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload every single Wednesday and every single Sunday, so there's no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. Also, do please feel free to check me out on Bookstagram at Page in Chapter, because I post over there too, and that can be a way of seeing what I'm reading or books I'm excited about or hoping to get to kind of as the month goes on, so you don't just have to rely on these monthly TBRs that can become a little bit outdated as the month goes on. That's a more up-to-date way of seeing what I'm interested in reading if you are interested in that. And so let's just get on into my April TBR. The first book I would like to get to this month, and probably the most likely book on this TBR that will get read, is A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the third and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I have been slowly making my way through this trilogy. I read the first one in February, I read the second one in March, and now it is time to get to the third one. I cannot get over the way the second book ended, so I'm very excited to go into this book because I just cannot even begin to imagine what is going to happen. So this series follows our main character Evangeline, and she is a very big believer in happily ever afters and love at first sight and just fairy tales essentially. And when the boy that she is in love with is set to marry somebody else, she goes to Jax, who is a fate of love or broken hearts, essentially a god of those things, and she makes a deal with him to stop the wedding. And this deal entails that she will kiss whoever Jax tells her to kiss, and she has 3 kisses that he can command from her, and these essentially lead her on this very big adventure. The stories just keep picking up right where we leave off. They are very easy to read, they are very enchanting and whimsical. They really lean into the YA-ness of it all, but I think it works to Stephanie Garber's advantage in this case. And I've just really come to love these characters. I think Jax could be one of my favourite characters of all time. I think he's just so well written and fleshed out. And I loved The Ballad of Never After, book 2 in this series, even more than I enjoyed Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm so excited to go into this one and see what Stephanie Garber cooks up for us. The next book that I am really hoping to get to this month is A Feather So Black. This is a magical fae world fantasy with a strong romance element. Not entirely sure if it is romantasy or has a spice element to it, but it's listed on Goodreads as a romantic fantasy, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm really excited to get to this. I think this is kind of like a Swan Lake or like a Black Swan type of retelling. We follow our main character Thea, and she is being raised by the queen of this kingdom to be a spy essentially, and one day rescue her daughter who has been captured and is being held captive in another realm. And one day when a gateway to this realm opens, Thea is tasked to go through it and try to save the princess of the realm. And this princess is cursed to turn into a swan, either by day or by night, I'm not entirely sure, but she's cast to turn into a swan. We follow Thea as her and her childhood friend, the prince, and also the betrothed of the girl she's going to try and rescue, is tasked to come along with her and help her on this journey. And it just sounds like the setup to a really wonderful whimsical story, very fairy tale vibes. I don't think you can really go too wrong with a fae realm and a romantic fantasy. It's a combination that works really well. I'm hoping the writing is engaging and well done, and that this is just a very solid romantic fantasy story. I've been really getting into my fantasies lately, and I'm just hoping that this makes me feel all of the feels in the same way that Crimson Moth did, which has been one of my favourite reads of late. I've never really read anything with the kind of premise of she's cursed to turn into a swan every day, and I think the fact that the love interest in this story is betrothed to the girl that our main character is supposed to be rescuing is a really interesting dynamic, and I'm really excited for that like tension to play out on the page, and I'm just really hoping that this is done well. I've never read anything by this author before, haven't heard much hype around this book, but I am really excited to get to it, and I'm really hoping that this is like a solid fantasy with a romance plotline. We'll just call it that for now, and after I've read it I'll be able to tell you levels of spice and if I would class it as romantasy and whatnot. The third book on my TBR for the month is Anatomy. I have had this on my physical TBR for quite a while now, since November, December time I want to say. I have seen some really good reviews for this story and I love the cover. I find it like very pleasing to the eye, and the texture of the book is very nice, but I've just not really been motivated to pick up this story. This is a gothic romance kind of story and it sounds like something I could really enjoy, but to be honest I'm just tired of seeing this on my shelves, and I would really like to get to it now and decide if I like it, if I want to continue with the series, or I don't know. I'm tired of looking at it and saying yeah I should read that one day and then not actually reading it. So I'm putting it as an option for the month of April so that we hopefully get to it. So this is set in Edinburgh in 1817 and we follow our main character Hazel, and I assume she's learning or training to be some kind of pathologist or medical student, and she reaches a point where studying from textbooks isn't working anymore and she needs actual corpses. Enter Jack, who digs them up for a living, and all of this is set against the backdrop of a city where people are disappearing and dying of mysterious illnesses, and Hazel and Jack end up working together to kind of go through unmarked graves and try to get to the bottom of what is happening in Edinburgh in the 19th century and figure out what is going on. It sounds like it could be a very, very fun story, and as I said, I've seen some positive reviews of this. I am very intrigued, and the prettiness of the book really sells this for me. I picked this up based on pure looks so many times and put this book back and then didn't buy it. When someone that I work with suggested that I read this and it sounds like something I would enjoy, I finally convinced myself that it was time to pick up the pretty book and actually buy it. And hopefully the recommendation will stand true and I will enjoy this. Oh my god, I've just noticed that there's a girl on the cover. That's so clever. It's not just a heart, it's a dress. The cover is a dress. I feel like a bit of an idiot that I only just noticed that, but I'm very impressed with this now. And then the final book on my TBR for this month is one that is a rollover from last month because I did not get to it, because it still scares me and it is still daunting. Pucking Around by Emily Rath. This is the 700-page hockey romance that I was talking about in my last TBR, and I'm still just as intimidated by it as I was last month, and I'm still just as scared to read it because I just don't see how a 700-page hockey romance can be good. Essentially, we follow our main character, Rachel Price, and she starts a new job as a physical therapist for an NHL team. And when she walks in on her first day, she realizes that the perfect one-night stand she had a couple months ago is actually her new client and someone who is on this hockey team. So we watch her trying to navigate this situation, and then there's also two other potential love interests, I believe, which I think is why this book is so long, because it's kind of a who is she supposed to end up with out of these three guys kind of book. I just can't imagine it being good enough to warrant the length, but I do really want to give it a try. There's not many physical hockey romances that you see out and about, so I feel like the fact that this one has been traditionally published and you can just go to your local store and buy it, surely this isn't gonna be that bad. So I do want to give it a try. I'm just so daunted by how big it is, but it is multi-perspective. I just kind of want to see. I want to see if I could recommend it to you guys. I want to see what it would look like to have so many different potential love interests in one romance, particularly a sports romance. So I'm just gonna keep putting it on TBRs until we get around to reading it, and hopefully one day we will. Fingers crossed. It is in the month of April, but I'm not sure. April is a very, very busy month. So this is my very small TBR for the month of April. April's busy, and as I said last month, I felt a lot of pressure by having a TBR. I'm trying to remove the pressure from my reading this year. That is the aim. I want a lot of room to mood read. I like to be able to just pick up my Kindle and pick up a Kindle Unlimited, or go to one of the other like contemporary romances or one of the other fantasies. Like, I just like the room to do whatever I want, and I can feel a bit constrained by TBR sometimes. But I also do really like it when I want to read but I don't have a specific mood that I'm in. It's nice to have a TBR to go to and go, okay, it's time to read that one now. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out, as the months go on, what is an ideal number of books for me to have on a TBR so that I don't feel overwhelmed, but I do find it useful. Last month we tried 5 and I was overwhelmed. This month we're trying 4. I know that makes it a very small TBR video. I do apologise for that, but I still want to be able to do them. I love watching TBR videos. I think they're great ways to find recommendations. It's just hard for my mood readery self. But I will let you know how 4 goes. I am really excited to get to all of these. Can 100% guarantee that A Curse for True Love and A Feather So Black will be getting read this month, because I'm so excited about those. The other 2 scare me a little bit and are kind of books that need to be on a TBR in order for me to ever pick them up and read them. So we've got 2 that are not that excited about and 2 that I am really excited about, and we will see how this plays out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it was shorter. And if you did enjoy it and you would like to see more from me, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload every single Wednesday and every single Sunday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. And so without further ado, I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you're enjoying everything you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future. And I will see you for my next video. Bye guys.